Hey everybody, Phil here. I did a podcast with Henry Kilbane a little while ago, and we spoke primarily about his career, more specifically his career path and the decisions that led him to where he is now, and the decisions that he's made recently about where he wants to focus his energy. And you can check that out here, there. What I have for you today is actually some of the parts that we cut out of that podcast because it would have been 3 hours had we not done so. So this is our conversation. Our conversation kind of veered towards his experience thus far and his decisions that he's making about his business, his new business right now, and my experience in business. And so it's basically Henry and I speaking about our businesses. His being Overbet Express, which is really cool, and I'm excited to see more of what they come out with. But without further ado, here is Henry and I with some business talk. It seems too early to worry about because you don't even know what all the business responsibilities will be 6 months from now.
Exactly.
You say like, okay, you're in charge of this, you handle this, you make decisions about this. Just right now, it's about growth. Do you think it makes sense to start with? I'm not like, so my background's not in growing, social media presence. But my gut reaction would be that like the amount you'd make right now from affiliate deals on things compared to, what your goals are with the business 2 years from now are going to be really small. And I would think starting out with, basically, I guess it was Ben, you said, right? That I would go take his stance and actually go further and be like either promote nothing at first or promote things that we really believe will really help, like, because we're trying to help, our viewers and we make a little bit from it. But I think eventually you've got a huge following. There's a product you think is pretty good enough, promoting it, getting an affiliate deal. There's nothing wrong with that. And that's probably going to be the right move. Or even potentially product you don't think is that great, it, can be the right move. But I think right now that the financial upside is so small for, the next 6 months. Yeah. And I guess I don't know if viewers are turned off by promotion or not, but I would err on the side of less promotion when, there's not much upside to it yet.
Yeah, 100%. The only thing I can say is that you're completely right. The reality is not to brag or anything. The upside of earning $2,000 a month through an affiliation deal split between the five of us.
Yeah.
When we literally have $50,000 in buy-ins on a Sunday, it's not going to be. I think like one of the reasons maybe I've been maybe a bit too focused on affiliation. My main roles up until now, mainly because I've just been doing commentary, was just like setting up the Twitch. Obviously, I have pretty well networked in the poker world.
Yeah.
It's just been like reaching out to people, getting their advice and opinions and whatnot. But I think the main reason I've been focused on the affiliation side of things is because I'm money driven. I've always been a very money driven person, and I feel like if in 3 months we have at least something to show for it from like a financial point of view, it would just keep us driven. It would keep us like striving forward, because sure, 6K Twitch followers, sure, you can look at the amount of followers you have on Instagram, but if those are just numbers on a screen, I guess money's just numbers in a bank account as well, right? Like, but yeah, as someone that's always been pretty money driven, it would be nice to just like in 3 months' time, not necessarily, just kind of be rewarded for the effort so far.
Mm-hmm.
Just be like, okay, this is something that we can generate revenue from, and this is going to keep us like this covers that expense, this covers so and so and whatnot.
Yeah. No, it makes sense. Especially, with expenses, it's nice to it feels better, even if you have if the team has the money to lose money for a little while, definitely feels better to reach a break even point, or better sooner. I do think give it some thought though, because there's the first question of, does it hamper growth or not? I don't know if it does, if you have, a bunch of banners. And then two, something to keep in mind is that when you're 100 times the size that you are now, or maybe, I don't know what's a reasonable multiple, 50 times the size you are now, you're going to be able to negotiate a better deal with a product. And you could renegotiate a deal you negotiate now later, probably, but then all the people you signed up before then are at the lower rate. If it's like a subscription service or something.
True.
That's very locked in there. So, I mean, that doesn't mean you have to stop now, but it could mean you focus on just like 2 products now, and then wait until you're bigger to do more.
Yeah, that makes a ton of sense. Especially because we've really kept ourselves uncapped in like the brand's potential, because what we're trying to. But firstly, just to give people a background of what we're doing, like at the moment we're streaming the highest stakes available online on Twitch, but instead of it just being one person streaming, we've got the whole team streaming. So we've got sometimes there's 4 of us, sometimes there's 3 of us, sometimes it's just a duo, and then we just have basically just sending each other's feeds on a delay. So we have, sometimes Espen's making a deep run, sometimes Ben's making a deep run, sometimes they're both making a deep run. But the question that we asked was, okay, right, in our mind, everything that can be done with Twitch Poker has been done pretty much already. We've got the 6-figure scores, we've got the 20,000 viewers. I think the record is, I want to say probably Lex has had 60, 70K before on some, everything that can be done by one person has been done. So we need to try and bring something different, which is why we want to keep ourselves uncapped, in the sense that Espen is insanely smart when it comes to crypto. Just next level, knows it inside out, is very intelligent, and crypto is something that a lot of people are uneducated on, but also very interested in. So that could be another product. Jonas is very smart when it comes to sports betting, knows the markets, knows where the edges are to be had, etc., etc. Tumlock is a world-class videographer. He knows the gaming industry like the back of his hand. So why don't we integrate a brand that has high-stakes poker, crypto, sports betting, gaming, but more importantly, lifestyle and entertainment? Because the main thing that a lot of people want to see is they don't want to see people running sims on stream. They want to see the lifestyle that comes with being a top pro and the behind the scenes stuff. And then that's where we kind of all just kind of had that agreement where that's what we wanted to show. We wanted to show everything, the ins and outs of what we do, the small intricate parts of it, and the stuff that most people already know. But that was where the whole concept kind of came up with. And at the moment, yes, we are only streaming poker. So we're not really doing anything different as of yet. But our lease in London on the boys' house expires on the 23rd of October. I'm flying to join them after Millions Cyprus end of September. So we're going to have Tumlock with us 24/7 with a camera.
Nice.
Just 4 lads, banter, poker, crypto, hanging out, just having fun, and hopefully just being ourselves. And I'm hoping that's a product that people buy into, because I feel like for me personally, that has been one of my biggest assets in my career as a commentator, that people have just bought into me as a person. And I don't think, I'm not delusional enough to think that poker brands have necessarily called me in because I'm like Nick Schulman, where, I play in these 100Ks and I'm beating the field in these 100Ks. I think it's more a personal thing, and I think that's why brands succeed overall. I guess you could speak about that from experience, right? With Run It Once, is that you've been the face of the brand for a long time now, and I think it's safe to say, at least it was for me, when it came to signing up, it was that, okay, I associate this brand with Phil Galfond, therefore I'm buying into you, right? I'm not actually buying into Rio because I don't know what Rio is yet. I'm buying into what I know Phil Galfond is. And if Phil Galfond is the face of this brand, therefore I am putting my trust kind of blindly into this brand, if that makes sense.
Yeah, it does. I mean, I think it's a little different. So I completely agree. Like in the content game, and I think it's, you have like some people will come because they want to learn how to be great at poker. Some people will come because they want to learn about crypto, but and sports betting and videography, even if depending on the type of content you want to put out. But then they stay and the channel grows because they get to know the people, and that's so like the interest can bring them in, and that, but then at the end of the day, they come back because they like the people, they care about the people, they want to connect with them, and in whether it's passively just watching or interacting on Twitch, whatever the case may be. I've kind of always felt I may be underestimating that element in poker training, because I've kind of just always felt that the reason that Run It Once was successful is because we just our goal was always to put out the best product that there was. And
don't get me wrong, you put out fucking great product.
Thank you, but I mean, like, I kind of always thought that people view who bought poker training viewed it as, on the whole, as an investment. Like, I'm going to put in this much, it's going to improve my win rate this much, so it's worth it. And there are all these sites to choose from. I choose this one. Maybe I choose 3 of them, but this is one of the best for the amount of money in and the time I spend on it. And so I think that makes sense. And so I know obviously that my personal kind of seal of approval, lends credibility and trust to it. And I think probably that's been added to because I've never had a deal from, I've never promoted anything that's not mine, like that I don't work on. And so I do think that helps, but I don't think people sign up because they like me, or, you know what though? I think actually one area that it's been really helpful is that we've gotten a lot of pros to make videos for us at Run It Once. And I've been told a number of times, like our team has been told, I'd only make videos for Run It Once. Like, I'm not sure I want to make videos. If I did, I would only do it for Run It Once. And I think that's because of me and I mean, kind of our values as a company, but that kind of reflect mine. And so I think we benefited in that way, probably more than just directly with customers or members.
Mm-hmm. I would say so, man. I don't think there's any true way to measure reasons for people signing, but I feel like the Galfond challenge against Venny, right? Like the viewers of that, yes. There was obviously a lot of hype around it because it was kind of like the first public match of its kind for a long time. But I would like to think, and again, there's no way of me proving this, but I think it had as many people show up for it as it did because it was you and people like you. If I streamed the 100, 200 match, firstly, I would get put in the bin by Venny. Venny, please, I'm not challenging you in any way, shape, or form. But it's just safe to say that like it wouldn't interest as many people. And yeah, obviously, I can't vouch for the pros that have created videos for you guys, but I definitely understand why they would only make videos for you. It makes sense to me on like a human to human level, because as much as this industry revolves around money and like hourly and dollar EV, it's still safe to say that there are people who don't just make decisions based off of money. There's like integrity involved, and there's values, and there's okay, right. Or would I want to associate myself with this person? Maybe not. They're a bit, so and so on social media. They kind of like, they're a bit bullish, if you will, towards other human beings. So maybe I'll just, keep myself at arm's length. And yeah.
It's interesting. I mean, poker training is a really interesting business because basically every time, maybe not every single example, but you're never, as an employer, you're never their primary source of income. So like the pros never need you. They don't need their job there. Whereas every other job, like most people go there and that's their primary source of income by far. And you kind of have in that way, like some leverage that you don't in poker training market. And so in poker training, not necessarily that you need to use that leverage for evil, but in the poker training, it is really important that pros like you and like your company because they don't need you. A lot of for a lot of them, poker training income, makes up less than 10% of what they'll make in a year. And so, like they do it because they like doing it and they think it's worth the extra income. But if they're upset with you, they just stop, and why wouldn't they? So yeah,
it's so true. Not to like try and brag or anything, but it's the same with me in commentary. And it's actually something that it's an inner battle that I've had with commentary before, because when you hang around with poker players, or well, at least some of the poker players that I've hung out with, it can be really strange to see how everything that a lot of their decision making process is based off of hourly. And when I then have disclosed how much I get paid for an event to close people of mine, they are sometimes shocked that instead of jumping in a 5-5 or a 10-10 PLO game and grinding that for 8 hours, I would commentate for X amount of hours. And firstly, to those friends of mine, not everything is about hourly. There's sometimes you just make decisions because you like things. But the main battle that I've had is companies, and I'm not going to mention any names because I get myself in trouble, but sometimes companies not understanding that I am a professional poker player, not understanding that I can make more money playing poker than I could in terms of like an hourly point of view, doing commentary. And I've struggled with that before because I'm just like, okay, like I'm getting told stuff last minute. There have been situations where, again, I want to make sure.
Try to figure out what you want to say.
The companies that I work for, I've been very fortunate in the sense that I've never signed for anyone. I've always just freelanced because I want to have that freedom. I want to continue to have that freedom that poker's given me, on like kind of choosing what I do. But yeah, sometimes I've kind of just had to like be like, guys, you do realize that I play poker for a living, and you need to try and like respect my profession more, if you will. And I think once that's been communicated, the results have just been brilliant.
Do you feel they're not respecting your time, like expecting you to drop things? Or
I think it must, like, the thing that makes sense to me is the okay, we need to we'll be honest, and then we'll we'll see whether so in real world money, the money that I get paid for commentary is a lot of money. For poker hourly, or as professional poker, it's not that much money. So I'm assuming the way that it's seen from a lot of these people that work for these companies, the ones that are doing the hiring and firing process and calling me up, they're like, who the fuck does this kid think he is? Like, we're paying him X amount of money. All we're asking is for him to talk into a mic for 8 hours. Well, firstly, talking to a mic for 8 hours about poker, when a lot of the time it's just raise folding and keeping the fans and viewers entertained, is I promise you, people think they can do it, and trust me, I've seen many people try and fail. It's a pretty daunting task. But yeah, secondly, I mean, it's just, I commentate because I'm just I love the game. I love the fact that I can do it. Like I get to call the action. Like, Jesus, man, I used to grow up listening to these guys, commentate on your hands, on Tom Dwan's hands, Phil Ivey's hands, and just be like, wow, these guys get paid to watch poker and call the action. Like, how fucking amazing is that? I get to do that. So I try and remind myself of that as much as possible, because there've definitely been times where I'm like, oh, I've got commentary. Oh, I need to adjust my sleep schedule. I need to do this. I need to do that. Like, it's going to get in the way of this relationship. Now, and this has just been like the year of growth, basically, and realizations. Now I try and just like look at it through a different lens, where I'm like, Henry, you don't have to commentate. You don't have to be calling the action. You get to do that. And honestly, I've just found so much more enjoyment in commentary ever since I've looked at it through that lens, where I'm just like, even if there's 100 people watching, even if there's fucking 10 people listening to the stream, that's 10 people that are listening to what I have to say about a poker game. And the reason why that means so much to me is because I used to be one of those 10 people. I used to be one of those 100 or 1,000 people that would listen to it. And for me, that's just amazing, because I don't know, like, the impact that it had on my life. If I can have that impact on just one person's life, then
that's really cool.
Achieve my job.
A great perspective. I hadn't thought about it that way. Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah, I get to do it. Like, I don't have to do it. I get to do it, and it's insane how many people will message me, and before, again, especially like during like my depression, end of last year and beginning of this year, it was always just like, oh, like, why, like, just leave me alone. Like, I don't want to talk to you. I don't want to receive your message on Twitter or Instagram. And now it's just like, Henry, man, these people, they have the same love. Well, okay, maybe not the same love, but they also love the game.
Yeah,
they're tuning in because they love the game. And for them to just like listen to your commentary and have banter with you, and then like be able to message you, for some people, that's like a highlight of their day. And the fact that I get to be, a ray of sunshine in someone's day, or put a smile on someone's face, like, fuck me, man. Like, I can die happy tomorrow if I'm getting to do that, like, and get paid for it.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, no, it's
again, another tangent. That's just a classic.
No, it's an awesome rant. Yeah, no, it's an awesome perspective, and it's true. It is lucky, and I mean, a lot of us are very lucky to get to do what we do, and it's very, very easy to lose sight of that quickly.
So easy.
Yeah. To your point about kind of poker play, I mean, going back to training site, like, we know poker very well as a poker training site, and so all of our video makers or pros, I guess we call them, but all of our pros, like, we try to make it easy on them, especially anybody who's like kind of a super high stakes pro. We're just like, what can we do to make video making easier for you? We can, like, and for some, they'll just talk and we'll put together a PowerPoint. We actually just signed somebody recently, and actually flew people out across the Atlantic Ocean. I was forgetting which ocean is which.
Okay, so like Europe to America or vice versa.
Yeah, and trying not to give too many clues. No, it's just Cliff.
Okay, sorry,
forgot which ocean was which, and to help record like first several videos. Because it's their time is valuable, and you have to anything you can do. For some of them, they do it because they like doing it. They do it because they like run it once, and it's still less than the hourly they could make playing poker. And so, how do we, reduce the number of hours that they spend on it and still get a quality product? Is it's important. And I think probably even beyond the fact that we reduce the time they spend, they probably just appreciate like you're, kind of how you felt it wasn't appreciated for you. Like they appreciate that we get it. We value their time.
Well, just so you know, I've always felt appreciated by Run It Once and by your team and yourself. So thank you for that.
Thank you. I'm glad.
We're sat here kind of like having this conversation and talking about hourly. And when you're just talking now about helping this person out to make their lives, somewhat more comfortable, it kind of sparked a couple of topics in my head. The main one being that I think a lot of us are, we discover poker, and before you know it, you're good at the game. You're making a living from it, and a lot of us fall into the game. A lot of us don't even get into it. Like, in fact, I could probably say that the majority of people that are at the top of like the food chain didn't intentionally get into poker. It was either like introduced to them by friends or family, or they somehow discovered it on an app. Like, you don't sit down when you're 16 and be like, right, I know what I'm going to do. I don't want to be a lawyer. I'm going to be a professional poker player. I mean, I guess some of us do, but
yeah.
So, you go through your career as a poker player, and then for me personally, like, you wake up and you're 26 and you're like, shit, okay, right, but I'm like lacking in other skill sets. So now, like, one of the things that I've been doing recently is something that I'm really enjoying about discovering like more about myself is, what can I learn from poker and what can I learn from commentary and just like the poker industry, and transfer that into other areas of life. Like, what could I, because I want to have an exit plan. I don't want to be playing poker when I'm 50. I don't want to be, at least I don't think I do. Maybe I will. I don't know.
Yeah, you don't. Yeah, you never know. Yeah,
you never know. You never know. But like, I'm always trying to like come up with new creative ideas and like challenging myself and improving in other areas. Like, one of the people that I speak to, she has like got me into like doing like painting and just like getting more creative and just like exploring different things. And at first it was always just like, oh, like, why would I want to, like, I don't want to paint.
yeah.
I'm 26. I'm a guy. I don't paint. I've never painted. And she was like, yeah, but you said to me that you used to enjoy painting when you were younger. I was like, yeah, but now I play poker for a living. So painting's kind of like taking the back seat. So we'll try it. Just like see what happens. And honestly, like, trying new things, and just trying to take important lessons from poker. And the reason I mentioned painting is because with painting, the lesson that I had to take from poker was patience with myself, because I went into it thinking like, well, this is going to be a walk in the park, right? Like, it's just putting brush to canvas, and it wasn't. It was one of the most challenging things I ever did, and it was just having a bit of patience and practice, and just kind of, again, that reconfirmation that things do take time. You can't be hard on yourself if you don't get it first time round, and just having more understanding and love and compassion for yourself goes a long way in poker and in life.
Yeah. All right, that's it. I want to thank you for watching. I want to thank Henry again for coming on and sharing his experience with me and us. And I will see you next time. I'll just leave you with that. Look forward to your comments and questions and feedback, suggestions, what you'd like to see more of, what you'd like to see less of. And I'll see you next time. This is Phil. Take care.